So what are IP addresses? An IP address is 32 bits uniquely identifies a host, computer, or a device such as printer, router, a phone on a TCP IP network. IP addresses are normally expressed in dot decimal format with 4 numbers separated by dots, such as 192.168.1.1, for example, as a private IP. Now, you might not be familiar with the binary or decimal or hexadecimal. Well, the binary is the computer's language, which it's zeros and ones. This what goes through the wire when you request something or when you play an online game, for example. It's waves. So imagine this. When you turn on the light, it's 1. When you turn off the light, it's 0. So it's only waves. Goes through the wire. Decimals are the numbers that we use in our daily life, such as 16, 60, 15, 50, 42, the numbers that we use in our daily life. So the hexadecimal, or hex, is a base 16 system used to simplify how binary is represented. A hex digit can be any of the following 16 digits: 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all the way up A, B, C, D, E, and F. Now you might say, these are alphabets, these are not numbers. So if you have, let's say for example, if you have 7 cables, you would say I have 7 cables. You counted them like 1, 2, 3, 4 to the 7. You have 7 cables. Now, if you say that I have A cables, means that you have 10 cables. If you say that you have B cables, means that you have 11 cables. So each hex digit reflects a 4-bit binary sequence. Now let's say that we have 192.168.0.1 as an IP address. So how do we convert that to binary and decimal and hexadecimal? So if your IP is like this, 192.168.0.1, this is how it looks in decimal. As humans, we can't read binary, and there's no spaces in here. I just put a space so you understand and you can see the difference. Otherwise, it's gonna look messy. So each one of those are 8 bits in size. So 8 by 4, because this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. So 8 by 4 equals 32. If you think, how would these ones and zeros make 192 or 168? Well, there's a table which it's this. Now, as we said, the ones are counted, and the zeros are not counted. So as we said, as I gave the example about the lamp, so when the lamp is on is 1 and it counted. You can see if the lamp is on. But if the lamp is off, you can't see, you won't be able to see. So when the bits in here are full with ones, with on, they are counted. When they are not full, when they are 0, when they are off, they are not counted. This is the basics of binary. So binary is used only for computers to talk to each other and transfer data, because we as humans, we can't memorize these amount of numbers or give it to a computer. Like, you can't give this kind of amount of numbers to a computer. You might make any mistake, it might ruin everything for you. So we as humans, we can memorize this, or we can give this kind of IP to a computer because it's easy, or at least it's readable. Now, the network ID and the host ID. How you would understand the difference between them, and how you would tell the network ID and the host ID. How would you know the difference? How would you know this is the host ID or this is the network ID? So I'll give an example. Let's say your IP address is 192.168.1.25. Okay, imagine this. Let's say that you live in Washington Street and your house number is 25, which is this. Okay, your neighbor is on 15. Another neighbor is on 30. And if I want to visit you, I need to go first to Washington Street and then look for house number 25. So 192.168.1 stands for Washington Street, your network ID. 25 stands for your house number. 15 stands for your phone, as example. 30 stands for your printer. Now, if you want to talk to your neighbors, you just walk in and knock the door and talk to them, because you guys are still in Washington Street. You are in the 192.168.1, which it's your network range. So how to identify the network ID and the host ID? Here where the subnet mask comes in. Now, if we go to Kali and we do ifconfig, we'll see the IP of this device, and the net mask of the network. So this basically means it's a network on a subnet mask 24. which provides us with 254 usable hosts. So when you see a subnet mask on 255.255.255.0, this basically means it has 254 usable hosts, which it means it's on 24. It's a subnet mask on 24. In most cases, when you sign up for internet service for your home or for your office, the internet server provider leases you. Okay, pay attention, leases, not selling, because IPs are expensive. They lease you an IP on a subnet mask on 24. Provides you with 254 usable hosts. For companies, if they have like 3,000 computers, printers, cameras, etc., they will go for a bigger subnet mask, like 20 maybe, or 21. Yeah, 20. I think 20. A subnet mask on a 20 provides more than 3,000 hosts. And let me show you what I mean actually. Let's go to Google. Let's go to Google and look for subnet table. Or you can look for CIDR notation. Called CIDR notation or IPv4 CIDR blocks. So actually this is useful. Let's go let's go for this. So let me just make it bigger. Yeah, so this is what I mean. So don't panic, okay? You never have ever to memorize any of these, but you need to understand the theory. So when you scan a network, at least you would know how to search for usable hosts within the target network. So let's say you saw 255, 255, 252. So you would say, oh, this is a big network. This is not a 254 host. Let me Google the subnet table or check the CIDR blocks, IPv4 CIDR blocks, and find how many usable hosts within this network. So as you see in here, 255, 255, 255 is on 24. If you remember when we did ifconfig in here, we saw the subnet mask is on 24. So let's say that you want to scan this entire network. So what do? You go for like 192.168.50, and then you do 0/24. Why 24? I think now you understand why 24, because of the subnet mask, it has 254 usable hosts. Like let's say the subnet mask was 255, 255, 252, okay? It wasn't 255. Let's think of this 252. So what do? You would say, okay, this is not a 254 subnet. This is a big network. So let me Google this subnet mask, and then you go to Google and you look. So where's the 252? Yo, this is a nut mask. This is the same net mask that you saw when you run ifconfig command. So you see, okay, this is on 22. So what you're gonna do in here, you won't start with your IP address of your machine, because this is your IP. So might be IPs before your IP and might be IPs after your IP. So you would start scanning from 1 to 54 or from 1 to 510, I think it was. How many valid hosts? Yeah, 510. So what you're gonna do, the same. So you just do 192.168.50 0/2. So on 22. Now you're scanning 510 usable hosts. Now because 192.168.50 130 is on a subnet mask on 24, 255, 255, 255. As you can see, we have 4 octets, and now because the first 3 octets are filled with 255, which it means it's full with binary ones. And as you remember from the slide that you've seen, and 255 is the last number that we can use in IPs, but the 0 octet is already 0. So it can go for 254 hosts with 255, 255, 255, 255 as a broadcast, and cannot be assigned to any device. And another thing I want to mention is no device would take the 0 or 255, because 0 is the network ID and the 255 is the broadcast ID. To verify that, go back here and look in here, 24, which it says in here, valid host 254. Yeah, sorry, when I talked about the 22. Yeah, so it provides 1022 hosts, not 500. Yeah, you see, you don't have to memorize this. You just need to Google it. Google the CIDR IPv4 CIDR blocks, or just look for subnet tables, and you will find it right away.